27, and welcome everyone. We will have the pledge of allegiance before we get going. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Somebody else went.
Sorry.
No.
I was hoping to save you a trip.
Council, you have the February 13th, 2024 minutes to approve.
I'd like to amend
Oh, what did I say? February 13th, sorry.
February 13th. I'd like to amend under new business A, Pastor Rod Dennis, down the second to last line. Current expense fund into new line item for paying for the church. Period, it should be, and then a discussion ensued, please. Cross out was had about the budget restraints. Just discussion ensued, please. Period. And item C at the bottom, Councilperson Robert Dew asked for at least one more quote from another company, / the rest, recommending his son's business. Just, he made the request to get one more quote.
You have stated previously, when a council member asks for certain things, that it goes in the minutes. That
I
is
think
why
he
that
was
is there.
joking when he said that.
Okay, so that's why it's in there. Because you have stated before, when a council member makes a request to put it
When
in
they
the
make a
minutes.
motion.
Okay,
If someone makes a motion, it's supposed to be word for word.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
That's all I saw on there. Did anybody else have anything with the minutes?
Yes, council, do you have approval?
Oh, yeah, move to approve.
Second.
With a mint, with,
With the
With the
changes.
changes, yes.
It's moved and seconded to approve the February 13th, 2024 meeting minutes with the changes directed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I asked the council to amend the agenda to add under unfinished business E, Otto Smith quote, and F, well 7 progress payment number 1. Any objections? Okay, unfinished business. A, council input of ordinance language with the first one, vehicle and recreational vehicle storage. The document that you have is additions from February 13th council meeting. Those corrections and suggestions, additions are in blue. And I would like to know, do you have any, after you've read these, do you have any more takeaway, add, discussion?
Well, only for one, don't agree with number 3. With the notices on there.
No, we're doing one, the first one.
Yeah, the two first ones I agree with, okay, but Henry, can I ask a question? Henry, do you know anything about abatement to judges?
Vaping?
Yeah, on nuisance properties?
Abatement.
Abatement.
What, how it's done?
Well, how it's done and how you enforce it?
You enforce it. like following the procedures in the ordinance.
Right, so like you got a nuisance property, how do you abate that?
You hope that they voluntarily abate it before it goes to the final step where you put the lien on the property.
Yeah, see, that's different from what I found out today. The abatement goes before the judge. It gives the council more power to act on these nuisance properties, so he can overrule
That's
a
county,
nuisance ordinance.
that's county.
No, the council,
Do they have it in court? We don't.
you go before a judge, any judge in the court. So obviously you're not familiar.
Well, their ordinance doesn't say that they're going before a judge.
Well, I'm still working on that at the moment, but yeah, that is the case. It gives the council more power to act on these properties during the 60 days, never mind a year or 2 years.
it is a fact that you can't go on someone's property without an order from the judge. And
Need a warrant.
you can't take their stuff without an order from a judge.
You need a warrant to get on the property.
You don't get a warrant, that
Okay, we
the
are not
sheriff
going-
gets a warrant. Well, the point is, Henry doesn't know what he's doing.
So, Robert, do you have anything else with the vehicle storage and recreational vehicle storage?
Yeah, I definitely don't agree to number 3, but there's a motion on the vote tonight, you understand?
Okay, we're focusing on the first one.
Yeah, this is to do with code enforcement.
Okay, but
And the
this,
motion I would like to make is to eliminate the code enforcement job.
okay, hearing none, there's not gonna be any, more motion on that, discussion on that
I
part.
second, I want to hear the discussion, please.
No, there was no second.
She just seconded, Paula.
Okay, this right here is just discussion, it has nothing to do with the position, okay?
Well,
I don't
really,
know
I mean,
why-
that's not up for discussion. I'm making a motion to eliminate the code enforcement position. That motion has been seconded.
But I didn't hear it when I asked.
Paula, you can't make those decisions.
I think I have to speak for the audience.
It's been seconded. You can't say it wasn't seconded within a certain amount of time.
Um, That right there is not on the agenda,
I made a motion.
okay? But that, what you're
Paula.
discussing there is not
No,
on the
no, I'm
agenda.
not gonna wear that, Paul. I'm
So
sorry.
this
Nope.
right here,
Paula's
all
wrong.
of these ordinances that we've been presented month after month, week after week, meeting after meeting,
Exactly.
is been a waste?
Yes.
Okay, I don't think it is,
I
because we have,
certainly do, from the information I've been receiving, looking up day after day, it doesn't work.
and what do you think that Henry has been doing?
I know.
Wasting our
No,
money.
you don't.
But anyway, I made this motion, okay? And that has been seconded.
Okay, what you are doing is.
So discussion should be open, Paula. You can't stop them from discussing it.
Excuse me.
Enough,
Um,
please.
So what you're doing is changing ordinance that's already on the books with 1101.
No.
That isn't what he
No,
said.
Because
no.
the,
I mean, if that comes to the crunch, I can table this till the next meeting and still bring it up, so, act on it now, it's been seconded,
okay,
okay?
It's
but
open for
what's the
discussion.
reason?
The reason is because Henry's not doing his job correctly. And some of these ordinances that he's coming up with are picking up innocent people, so to speak.
No,
Yes,
no,
it
this
It
is
takes away their
as
freedoms.
a open umbrella, not pinpointing, and if I
I
may,
think it is.
and if I may ask, what have you been pinpointing? As in other discussions, you have wanted different properties
I'm now
pinpointed.
doing a lot of studying. It takes time, but this isn't working for us, okay? I even asked you to provide me with a progress report on the employees, okay? At is that available?
Did you give me a timeline? Did you give me
I
a
haven't seen
start and a finish?
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you think that it's being worked on?
I'm not wearing all these things.
You will have a progress report, but give me a timeline
She
that you
will
want
never
things
get
in.
it. This is open for discussion about Henry's position.
Yeah, so that's been, the motion was made, that's been seconded. End of story.
Has anything been abated in the last 6 months? Has anything been done in the last 6 months besides all the work that he's poured into searching out 80 different cities and towns and or 85?
We always come up with a stopping point because of the timelines, or we cannot, the ordinance that we have to go on
Yeah.
is 1101.
Mhm.
And there's steps in there that cannot move forward because of the property that is being focused on. And
There's,
the property got sold. And so
I'm not
then-
just talking
then-
about houses, I'm talking about cars, junk cars,
Mhm.
people living in trailers
Yeah,
and
and
motorhomes.
we are trying to do that.
But how much time has he actually had to focus on the main part of his job instead of coming up with all this language?
And he's not an attorney.
Well, the thing is
Sorry.
it has gone, all of these things that he has presented to the council,
Yes.
last council and this one, it's still at the lawyers. Yeah, it's still at the attorneys on different ones. And this third, I keep saying that it's the first one, but it's the third, regulation and abatement of unsafe, unfit, and unsanitary dwellings, structures, or premises. That has been said by the lawyer, by our attorney, that has more bite, more, I don't know, power, I guess, that we can use from this point forward if it's approved from this point forward. But it's up to the council.
Council voted to see all emails from the attorney, so you should present them with that information.
There's other ways that Henry's not seeing. That's a lot faster. Instead of keep saying, cancel through, cancel through, cancel through every meeting, we're not achieving it. What have we achieved since what have we achieved?
As far as cleaning up and doing away with nuisances, I agree.
Nothing.
I agree.
In fact, the situation is getting a lot worse.
Well, I agree. I
You
just,
know, you've only got to drive around town and they're just, they're laughing. Well, what I told Henry about the abatement for a judge is his job, or what's his job, as a code enforcer, to look that up.
he already did way back when, and he talked to Ritzville, and he's talked to Odessa, and all of their abatement processes, and it's a slow process.
It does take time, but then again, if you know the ropes to pull and the people to go to, 60 days. 60 days. You can even so much as seize the property. You ain't got to go through all the stuff Henry's going through. I mean, I want to bring some
I'm
stuff
not gonna
over
put the
to
town
you.
in jeopardy.
Anyway, I'm not.
We have to have the ordinance that says we can do that before we can do that.
Where is the ordinance?
In your hands, that you haven't
Not from what
approved
I'm
yet.
reading, Barbara, now. I'm printing some stuff, it's gonna take me a little while, but anyway, I made this motion that code enforcement job be eliminated, it's been settled. That's the end of the story, I don't even want to say it,
And I don't think that the council can hire, right?
They
No meeting.
create
Do
the
away with
positions.
The position.
the position, yeah.
So in 1101, ordinance 1101, it is a mayor designated position.
The
That would
mayor
just mean
may
that he would be
appoint.
volunteering his time.
Okay. Right now, he's only part-time,
What are his hours?
part-time.
Curiosity.
12,
8 to 12?
1 to 4, or 1 to 5. Right. It just depends.
5 days a week or just one or the other each day?
Well, we kind of vary, 5 days a week, but we don't always want to be out in the morning, because as soon as noon comes around, well then, he's off duty. We kind of
Oh,
rotate
yeah,
his
everybody
schedule
does.
around.
They drive up and down the alleys twice a week, Jamie, behind my house and in front of my house. That helps our town a lot.
Money will be saved, you know, I mean, the town has got no money. We can't afford to pay $100 church rental.
It wasn't budgeted for. This was budgeted for. That position was
I know, that's
budgeted
always
for.
budget. The town's in dire straits, we have no money. Things aren't getting done. Code enforcement isn't being, they get it. That's simple.
Well,
I mean, you see it every day, it gets worse, Paul. Something's gotta be done, and it's gotta be done correctly.
Okay,
You know, it's time the town woke up.
okay, let me knock on your door,
No.
and I want you to do X, Y, Z. And you say no. So then the town has to go through the steps of making sure that the process is done so that it will stand up in court if it goes to court.
Yes.
And you, as citizen, says, nah, I don't care, go ahead. You can't make me. Okay, well, we still have these steps that we have to go
This
through.
is what I'm saying, you can make it. You can
You
change
can't force
ordinances,
somebody.
you can change ordinances.
But you're not gonna make me do anything if I don't wanna do it, right? I don't know.
No, you can, yes, you can.
Okay, how?
It's a 60-day turnaround, as I said, that's a lot of paperwork, which Henry's employed to look at, and he hasn't looked it up. Okay?
No, he has.
No,
And he has gone to other towns and he's gone to other, council meetings.
and I'll
found
talk
out
to other
whether-
mayors,
Okay,
you know, and I mean, the information I get, we can act on. But I'm not gonna sit here and argue about it all night. I made the motion that was seconded, that's up to you what action you're gonna take.
No, it's not. It's up to council. You guys get to
Well, she's
discuss it.
saying that can't be done
Well, she's
It's
full of it,
mayor-
as usual.
Mayor designee position.
on the position.
They can get rid of the position, then there's no one to appoint.
Well, he's right there.
Position is
About it.
No, the budget has been decided.
That doesn't matter.
Oh.
If they decide, Paula, you just spent $35,000 on the well, so don't tell me the budget matters. The $35,000 for the well was not in the budget. So don't be making a big deal about that. Council could take Barbara's position and put it into 2 part-time positions if they wanted to. It doesn't matter what you wrote in the budget. It's their power, not yours.
I have a question. So if we didn't have Henry, a town employee would therefore take on that role?
It would be whoever mayor designates the position of. That's what's in the ordinance of 1101.
The task has
with
been
that-
the mayor.
With that then, that was where Henry came up. And actually, if you think back, that position was made when someone needed a job to stay on position or on salary for L&I.
Yeah, but he quit that position because
I didn't quit, I
there
was
was
fired,
nothing
thank
to
you.
do. He was fired, yeah.
So that position was made for a special situation.
Well, I just feel like we hired on a third city employee and we've got them driving around because there's nothing for them to do. Maybe they could take on that role.
Paula
I
could do it for
disagree
free.
with
She
that.
just doesn't want to.
I just.
We did it for free when it was Jamie and me. So she could do it for free. She just doesn't want to.
Well, I'm looking at 1101, and it's the one that's been for years and years, started in 2011, was the update. And it says that the person acting as the code enforcement goes out, hears that there's a problem or sees it, goes out and looks at it, and then sends a letter. And then there's also a monetary fine and a time frame of 12 days to take care of the issue.
And that has been done, and that
But
has been done.
only for these big ones, is that what we're talking about? And that's why we have to have all this extra language that has a negative effect on a lot of people here in town, you know, just like with the RVs and stuff. You know, where are people gonna put their RVs if they can't get to their backyard? You know,
Well,
with,
that is an issue. But that's a working, collaboration of, what to do. If we have people that don't want the RVs in front on the street, what's your solution? Come up with a solution so that we can have a place for RVs not to be in front on the street.
I do, the town needs to purchase some land, put up a fence with razor wire and a security system, and rent it,
Okay,
rent spaces for people.
is there a land
Sure.
available?
I think on the other side of the coulee, that land you can't build buildings and stuff on because it's in the floodplain, but you could definitely put in, you know, it hasn't flooded for 100 years, but you could definitely put a fenced-in area with gravel.
I don't know, I haven't looked into it being with the floodplain.
You have a lot of land. There's lots of pieces that you pay taxes on, Paula. A lot of empty lots.
But we'd have to zone it appropriately.
So I have a quick question. So, can RVs or motorhomes be on your property in this question? That's fine. Okay, I just wanted to know this. I didn't.
Okay, any other discussions or whatever? Are we,
We getting motions on this?
well, the thing is you're gonna do away with, the position, and then what? You've got A, and you got B, and you got C, that's already been prepared for you to make decisions on. Are they going down the road to as well? You're just gonna throw these away? The position is there so that Henry can focus on the nuisances. I'm sorry that there's no magic wand that we can say bippity boppity boo and done. But you're working with people and you're working with their property, and it's a touchy situation sometimes. There has been things that have been cleaned up that probably hasn't been noticed, I don't know. The big nuisances are eyesores. Yes, they are.
That's not only that, that's the code enforcement job. We find that money every month. A lot of smaller towns are doing away with code enforcement also because of the cost.
Okay,
This town is a poor town. We have no money for some reason.
and we do not have an alternative like the police department to help us out in that situation also. See, that's a problem I see, that we don't have, if we turn this people in or turn this property in, we don't have the backup for the police to help us because they do not enforce ordinances.
So you're saying Henry has the same authority as a police officer?
Okay, to go along with what you
No,
just
he
said,
does not.
you have a camper in the middle of your city street since September 29th. Your city street, you're the owner of that property. What has he done to try to clean that camper up? That's going on in September, October, November, December, January, February, and pretty soon March. So in 6 months, has he asked for the police report? Has he asked for the information? It's on its side, so you can see the bin now, you don't even have to crawl underneath.
Yeah.
But it's going on 6 months that it's been sitting there with a police report. And
I don't know,
and it's in your street, so
No,
along with
it's
your
not.
city.
Yes, it belongs to the town.
That is a city street.
No,
I know
don't.
you're up to the side though. It's in city limits on your road, so you are the owner.
It's the property of Pacific Pride. And he's upset because he
Did you
doesn't,
want the picture?
oh, Chris. I've already done, when it first was there, I went and I
Dead
saw,
center, middle of the street.
no,
I drove past there this morning, it's on Pacific Pride property when I drove past this morning, coming to work. I
It
drive
hasn't
past
moved.
there every day. It's on Pacific Pride property, it's not in the street.
and Pacific Pride owner has been in contact with the sheriff's department several times because I keep calling him to say, what's the progress, And he cannot get them to come and look for a VIN number. They cannot get the police to come and help for a tow. Nobody knows who will come and, tear apart,
They've already
demolish.
been tearing it apart, it's blowing away. I mean, it's been blowing around
So at
for
what
over
point,
5 months now.
at what point does Pacific Pride get charged for having nuisance? If it's been 6 months, have they been charged or have you filed suit with them? If that's the proper steps to take, I mean,
I think Pacific Pride's in the county,
I don't-
isn't it?
I don't know, but if we're
I think
holding
it's-
people
Yeah,
accountable,
that's not,
instead of just contacting them and asking, isn't that what you're supposed to do?
it has nothing to do with town though. It's Pacific
Right,
Pride's
but it-
property, it's not within town limits.
It
Yes,
is
it
in
is.
town limits, yes, it is, I just looked at.
It is,
where
it's on
town-
the side of the street that's town.
It's on your city center.
Because the border of the town goes along that stretch at the,
The gravel road.
Yeah, that's
all
the
the way up
gravel
the road,
yeah,
and then turns and comes back into town highway
yeah,
21.
Pacific Pride is on town property. So if they're a town resident, a town business,
So if you get rid of the position of Henry's position, we're back to square one before Henry was even hired. And we have nobody to enforce the law, the ordinances. And I thought, this was my impression, that everybody on this council wanted to do something about the junk in the poor or the lousy properties that are in the town. Well, how are you gonna do that if you get rid of the position?
Goes the town.
Town employees.
The town
For the
can
highway
act itself,
The
it's
em-
other towns.
the employees get
Spokane, Spokane.
It hasn't been done in the past, and I'm sorry.
Look, Larry Cook and Patty Phillips did it, and Jamie and I did it. So it has been done in the past for many years.
Okay,
And
Denise.
let's keep it true. Let's keep the truth. Let's keep the
I
truth.
have the floor.
That's great.
So anyway, if it was, I know that before Paula was mayor, it was starting to get worse. So I just like to know, what are you gonna do about it? If you don't have, what are you gonna do about it? Give me
Well, the
specifics.
town can act on it. Don't you start shouting at me, Missy. Okay, I know you're a member of the public, but yeah, have a little bit of respect. I'm
There,
trying to answer you the best I can, and I'm saying the town can act.
give me some specifics. What are you gonna do?
Well, like Jamie used, I used to stick notices on doors to clean up problems.
That's
Okay?
what I do.
Condemn
It
problems.
did, it's the first notice, they actually gave it to people in person and explained what the notice was about.
It worked.
And they were given a certain amount of time, and if they felt they couldn't clean something up or do what was asked of them, they could come and ask for an extension with a reason.
And now all of that same procedure there has been done as far as Henry is concerned here. He's done that, he's done the letters, he's done the door knocking.
We did it for free. We did it for free. He's charging $15,000.
I don't know of any door knocking or people that have been approached by Henry, because even in the meetings when it's been discussed, it's been stated that they have been sent letters, and those letters contain empty threats. So nobody's been contacting the residents. I myself have received letters that I've had to call in about. Nobody's contacted me. So how can they sit here and say that they're going and knocking on doors to address the situation when it first comes up? Because they're not.
I have received phone calls from people that have been contacted by Henry.
Barbara, I wasn't talking to you.
Okay, but you're stating that nobody's
No,
been
and you shouldn't
contacted.
be answering for the mayor
I'm not answering
or
for
the
mayor.
council.
I'm explaining that I've received phone calls from citizens of the town that have been contacted by Henry. I'm responding directly to your statement.
Responding to letters not being addressed initially before a letter goes out. That's
Exactly.
my point.
And I'm, okay.
Do you have anything?
This whole thing has just turned into massive frustration for everybody. I don't know what the answer is. It just seems like it's taking forever to make any kind of progress. And therefore, the folks in town are getting pissed off because nothing seems to be getting done, and the town looks like crap. You know, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, something's gotta progress, because right now I just feel like we're spinning our wheels. It's Henry's fault, no, it's Paula's fault, no, it's the council's fault. And I don't know, I'm frustrated. That's all I got.
And duly noted, I've said that before. And I think that the whole issue is that the progress just isn't done, right? That what you said was it's just not fast enough, it's not done. We don't have results being seen. I think that is the issue there. The process is, like Jamie said, you know, there's an offense, there's a nuisance, it's addressed, it has been. The results are not there.
Have you sent out any fines? Because that is the appropriate thing to do when people aren't responding.
Right.
And the town can also clean up certain things and then charge the owner and send them to collections if they don't want to pay.
Right, and the collections are being laughed at
By who?
by the people that we have sent to collections. So,
Then
You
it
know-
turns into a legal matter.
well, exactly.
But most people pay
Exactly,
either at the first step or the collection step.
okay. You have to give the timelines, I want my fence, I want your fence to be moved. Okay, we gave it the notice in January. All right, so we'll give you till end of March, end of April, when the weather is nicer. So, you know, you gotta wait, if you give the deadline, you gotta kind of wait for the deadline to get there, right?
Of course.
Okay, so that's kind of where we are in that. The roaming RV that was over on South Side, and it was on this, the north side, now it's in the back, and now it is being progressed, but people are just, you're not gonna tell me, I live here, this is my home. It's gonna be moved to Moses, it's going to be dismantled, you know. You've heard all the excuses before, Jamie.
So how is the new law gonna change that?
According to the lawyer, that the new ordinances, the language has got, all I can think of is better teeth.
What does that
The
mean?
results.
What does that mean?
Well,
Does that mean it goes to him and he takes care of it?
No. The steps, I don't know, the steps are what, Henry? What do you say?
He said you have to follow the steps. So many days, so many days, so many days, so many days. He said sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years to clean things up. 'Cause there's
The
always a
code
field.
says that already. How is your new language changing what the code already says? Because the code already says
It's more
that.
specific to the different nuisances
Yes.
and the way you can handle them. It's too
What does
general.
that mean? You're giving me a bunch of baloney.
He
You're not,
just answered you. Denise.
that doesn't tell me anything. Does this mean you get to take it to court and the judge will do whatever? Does this mean that you get to do it in 30 days instead of 12? What does it mean? You don't know.
The ordinance language is to take our nuisance and separate it out to have more specific guidelines, deadlines, property, I don't know, Jamie says fines, different for the RVs, different for the removal of personal abandoned property, the unfit, different punishments, violations, I don't know what you want to say. Yes?
This is, I guess, in response to Jim Leaderman's comment earlier. The people are frustrated, and I think, for me at least, the main reason for that is we keep getting vague answers. Direction, there doesn't seem to be any direction on how the codes are being taken care of. We're adding new codes instead of taking care of old ones. I understand legal jargon, words do matter as far as like paperwork and going through the course and things like that. And yes, it does take a while. But I, as a community member, have not seen or heard of any clear direction that's being taken to clean up the town. As far as I haven't heard anything about getting another yard waste area that could help us. Maybe organizing another dump day to help these people clear out their homes. You know, even if we do it as just a big community event, the town doesn't have to do it, but the community can help gather all this and take it to Ritzville, or, you know, there are other options that the town and the community can do without relying on the council if we want to clean up the town, if it's asked of us, if the council wants to do that. But I haven't seen a clear direction on what is it exactly you guys want to clean up? What are we cleaning up?
Junk cars, burned houses.
Tweaker properties, derelict properties, dangerous properties. It's all over town. Like Jim said, the town is a disgrace.
Yeah, I see it, and
You know,
everybody else sees it.
this is a nice little town, a lot of nice people in it. We need to make it a better place. And we ain't gonna do it sitting there doing nothing. We have to act. It's been too long now.
So clean up the trash first, then attack each property, and then take care of the RVs. And maybe in this ordinance that is on the agenda right now, you want people to park their RVs in the back, it doesn't have to be, let's say if you're living in your RV, it has to be in the back. It has to be in the back.
You can't live in your RV.
You can't.
Didn't Washington State?
No, you cannot live in that RV.
Oh.
Only if you're doing some kind of remodeling or reconstruction
Right.
Yeah.
to a property that you can't live in it,
Yeah.
then you can live in an RV for a
After you-
specified amount of time.
After you get a permit from the council, that's something that they've done recently.
Okay. I was from another state, that was my misunderstanding. I thought Washington had passed that.
I have a question for Henry. Of the top 3 properties that you've been working on, how long have you been going through this property?
2 years.
Is that it? Well, it seems like forever.
Well, and
Well, we did the first time, the 3. They passed the resolution, went to the attorney, and he says, no, can't use that one. It's in the ordinance. He says, no, can't use it. Then we had to start all over again, doing it
Did he make recommendations?
He said, do the other,
Rewrite,
rewrite it.
that was the recommendation.
That was his recommendation, he didn't point you in a direction or give you an example or?
He told you to
We're
be
paying
the
for this
attorney and
attorney?
rewrite the law for our town?
That's what they wanted.
They want, there's supposed to be council workshops. And they should be working in groups of 2 on ordinances. That's what
That's what the
Yes.
attorney said.
the attorney and the
That attorney
MRC
was
says.
supposed to be getting rid of, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's the attorney that we've had for the last few years.
And how come council never heard about that?
They did.
Yeah.
We're thinking about getting a new one.
How come they didn't hear that they were supposed to be working on ordinances in 2s?
Anyway,
That was
this
just
is
a
still on the table. A motion was made to eliminate this
That's what
job.
he, that's what he recommended.
So discussion on whether to keep the job or not.
So,
discussing.
I want to answer Heather. There is a free dump day scheduled already from last meeting.
At the end of April,
Yeah, the very last week.
27th or something like that.
So if, I failed to put out notices after that meeting so that everybody could start planning, I'm sorry. But it is in the works.
Are you gonna put it on the next bills, the billings? At the bottom that there's a town jump in?
No.
Why?
Because
I've already
it's
done
March.
this.
Because it's March. It's at the end of April.
Yeah, so can't you put it on the next ones?
Well, we could.
In April.
That's what I meant.
Oh, you said this next one. So, yes. Yes, that's the, we can do that. But the guarantee, it is so frustrating because, and I'm just gonna, we had the fire, then we had another fire, then we had another fire. And one thing or another, come on, mister, can you clean it up, da-da-da-da, oh, I am, I can live in this. You cannot live in a burned out house. And then all of a sudden we find out that the house has been sold to the gentleman. He was just renting. So then we have to start all over again because the owner is no longer in possession of that burned out house.
I have a question. Is he making payments or has he actually paid for that property? Well, if he hasn't paid for the property yet, then it's still up to the original owner.
And the original owner says it's not mine.
It's in his name.
It's
On
in his
tax sifter,
Yeah.
it's in his.
She gifted it
See,
to
that's what's gonna happen all over town, the same thing across from me happening.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
So
another.
we're trying to get ahead of whatever curves that's gonna be thrown. And, I think that Henry's put in a lot of hours and he's done a lot of good work with no, what? I was gonna say response.
Results.
No results or no visual,
Yeah, in 2 years, nothing.
well, okay.
2 years. Well, there's other ordinances, the council can make new ordinances. There's all sorts of power there for us people to change, where we can act quicker, without going through all this.
You still have to have the timelines, you still have to follow the laws of the housing people, the lawyers that, they're gonna get to sue you.
Well, we know all lawyer ain't a lot of copies, we know.
Well, every lawyer is whatever, so, hand up.
So my question is, and I just wanted to hear from Council Paula Bell, with all of these nuisances houses and problem houses, where does the health department play a factor in this?
I could answer that.
And why
They
are
won't do
they not
anything.
backing up the side of the city, the town land and helping?
They
It's been
don't.
answered before, and it's always the same answer. if that is the way that an adult wants to live, then that is A-okay. If there are children involved, then that's a total different answer. That's a total different case. But a health department, if that's the way they want to live, then we can't do anything about it.
And that's including no water, sewer?
Yes, it is. I went through that myself with a person.
So,
No water, no sewer, electricity. Skip had to take the doors off the place and then they finally moved.
so, with the motion that is on the table and, late second, there, I do not think that it holds any water because the mayor has the designation of a position.
Like Michelle.
She doesn't.
So, I don't know what to do.
They can vote to remove him and then you can ask the attorney who's right,
We can vote to remove the position,
the position.
Not the job.
not the person.
Okay, so what's the difference between a job and a position?
Same thing.
They're not firing the person, they're removing the job because we can do something better with the money.
It's gonna save the town more money.
Well,
Then we can then go
Okay,
about
so-
changing the ordinances and things to go
but
make
you
this
got the
work.
ordinances here.
A lot of these
You're not
ordinances, I feel, especially number 3 on that one, is picking up, I would say, innocent people. You know, you can only do this, you can only do that. No, there's too much of that going on in this town. You need to pick on the people that need picking on.
Well, don't pick on me.
Well, part of the problem I see is you give a guy a notice because the place looks like crap. Okay, so he packs up and moves his crap somewhere else after you've already started.
And that's what the roaming RV did.
Yeah, you know, and it's kind of a never-ending thankless job for Henry, but
Yes. And it would be for whoever is in that position.
But I think that's what they're trying to say. We're paying Henry to do it, but like we're going around in the circle and nothing's happening. So we might as well just
But
have a
maybe-
town employee do it, and we're gonna have the same results. So we might as well save that
And the town hall
money.
can act on it anyway. The town hall can do that stuff. We don't, a lot of times, as I said, they're doing away with code enforcement because they can't afford it. And they're a lot better off than what we are.
then who does that position?
Town.
The mayor and the clerk.
Town employees?
The mayor and the
You
clerk.
can,
The mayor and the clerk.
I mean, for a start, a code enforcer has to be certified, I believe, within 2 years.
No,
Am I wrong on that? When does he have to have certification?
there is no.
Certification in what?
It says in the code that a law enforcement officer is the only one that can deem junk vehicles junk. And a law enforcement officer has to have 2 years of training at the academy.
And that's what we do when we have a vehicle, we call the law enforcement in. That's what they will do for us.
And it says code enforcers should be certified also. We just went through the code and read every darn word, Paula,
Well, good, Denise.
and he's not certified. So you're not even following the rules of our code.
Well, I don't think that that has anything to do with anything as far as the position goes for a code enforcer. It's not enforcement, it's compliance. We are code compliance.
Well, he's not getting anybody to comply.
Well, you can't force lead a horse to water.
Well, what's the point of him driving around twice a week by my house? How is that helping? It's wasting gas. There's
It's
no
not just your
reason.
house.
It doesn't matter. You can drive around once every 2 months and get the job done. It doesn't have to be every 2 weeks.
Council, we're gonna go back to the motion that is supposedly on the table, right? Correct?
Yep.
Okay, I don't know what the answer's gonna be, I don't know what the result's gonna be, but what's gonna happen after that?
The motion was made, it was seconded.
Okay, and I'm asking, what's going to happen? What is it what's the result that you want to happen?
The result is, with that position empty, The town will then take on the responsibility.
And who's the town? Council?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
No,
Council
that
gonna
would be,
do it?
that would be the mayor and
Yeah,
the employees.
council's gonna do it?
Mayor and the employees, not the council. Council
Yeah, there,
does
that's
that.
what we.
Okay, so I as mayor can appoint. Okay, I can appoint.
You will act.
No, there will.
No, she's not appointing another person. She'll do the
You
work
act by
herself.
yourself, as mayor and clerk of the town. You would draw up the ordinances. You will send out the notices. That's the
Between
way-
midnight and 2 o'clock.
Well, we have 3 employees, why does it have to be you? We have one on light duty, correct? No, not anymore?
No, he's right here.
I meant
He's not a
Cagney.
town employee.
Who? Cagney?
No,
She was on light duty, so, okay, so. So like Dad said, we need a list of what the employees actually do during the day, and then we will
it's being
find,
worked on, yes.
and we can find in there, we can find the time in their schedule where they can, cause like, people are saying, it doesn't take, how many hours do you work a week, 20 hours a week? It doesn't take 20 hours a week. They can do it. The city of Ritzville town employees do it themselves, they don't have a code enforcement officer.
How many employees do they have on staff?
Yeah, but their town's double the size of us, they have like 4, I think.
We did it with
They're not
2.
my town anyway, so.
So when will we be able to see their job description and what they've done?
The diary?
Yep.
Okay. When? At the end of this month, at the end of this next month? Do you want a weekly, do you want a monthly, do you want just a daily?
We want to know what you've assigned them to do so that we can report to people who ask us. And so that we are informed about what's being worked on. What you assign them to do each day. I mean, I know you have people that go out and check all the water. And another one does the sewer. What's the third one doing?
No.
And then what other duties are they doing besides that everyday thing like the water and the sewer?
Oh, okay.
Sewer flushing, reservoir cleaning, checking on well 7, sample taking.
That's part of the,
I'll do that 3 hours.
part of the water and sewer.
Well, no, that's,
I'll do
I'm
that by
just,
myself in 3 hours, Bob. I've done it.
do which?
I don't wish, I know.
No, do which do you do
Which
it 3
I see
hours?
the wells, the sewer, and that means the one seen of that sewer plant down there, that doesn't.
Sewer flushing in 3 hours?
So what are they doing up by Donna Biddick's house if they're doing all those things?
They're working on the sewer flushing, they're working on the.
What?
The whole tanks with food coat.
Okay, they
Right,
do
it's
that
not swimming,
weekly.
it's not swimming pool. Inside there is tanks, they're all green with algae inside, they haven't been washed for months. So I don't know who's doing that work down there, I'm sure. They should be cleaned and washed regularly.
So anyhow, what was meant by a report is that we want you to write down what they do every day and present it to us.
Or what?
Every day?
In our packet, you know, you can say daily we do this, but the extra things.
Okay, so.
And then put it in our packet for every meeting.
Well, you want it every week, you
Well,
want.
every 2 weeks or whatever, yeah.
Okay, so, thank you.
Okay.
That will help.
I mean, that
Okay.
You
seems
might-
like a functional time to have that, and we want to look it over and ask him.
It's just not known, I guess. Is that the issue?
Yeah, we would like to know.
The issue is what they do from the time they start work at 7 till the time they knock off at 4 o'clock.
Okay, but we got
Like
that.
one person goes, well, I got up today, I was doing so-and-so road. Not, you know, each employee, and then I think, obviously, all this work we keep farming out to contractors, like maintenance on the trucks, should be done by the town employees. If they can't weld, somebody teach them to weld. They don't know mechanics, teach them. That's cost the town money because they can't do half the jobs.
But maybe they are doing other things besides.
No,
I
no,
doubt it.
I know what you're doing. It's like the $10,000 what we spent on James Ball, but they've been contractors.
having this conversation if the town was on better financial footing. But it seems to me that if we have to rob Peter to pay Paul to be able to rent this building at $100 a month, then we are not on such great financial footing.
The problem with that is that to rob Peter to pay Paul, it wasn't budgeted to rent this building.
Okay,
Everything else was budgeted.
but you don't have
The
something there, a
35,000 wasn't
contingency
budgeted.
for an emergency? Why not?
Yeah, we have emergency built into the budget for certain things. But $1,400 is
Nothing.
above and beyond what we expected on to take out of this fund or that fund or this fund or that fund. We just didn't expect that.
Okay, then
So
let
we
me,
didn't plan on that
The
in our
town
budget.
should have money put by to buy equipment when needed.
Right, which we do. But
So,
buying a building isn't,
you know, I
renting a
mean,
building
this is
is
just
budgeted.
beyond me. I mean, I'm going back to James Bond's property. $8,000 in unhardened cement, which is gonna be dug up in the spring, probably gonna cost another $4,000 as contractors. The town should be doing that. That's $10,000 we're throwing away of the people's money. I mean, how does that work? If they can't do the job, they should be employed for the town as far as I'm concerned. We don't keep spending town people's money. like that. They shouldn't be done. You're employed to work for a town, you should be able to do all aspects of work. From maintenance to road works to everything.
Hi. This is kind of personal too, but I just have to say that we've been here for almost 6 years and it's been kind of a struggle. We came to Lynn, not expecting to come to Lynn, but finding it to be a nice little town that maybe we can stay at and work on our house and our yard and stuff. And I'm sorry that our yard looks like crap, that we found out that we were naive thinking we could put grass in. So we are gonna work on that and we stopped. So we're gonna change that, but we are in a position where it's ugly here. I'm not just talking about the mess and stuff, but people don't get along. And I'm not just saying it's Lynn, but sitting here, it's embarrassing to listen to all of it and to know that we're kind of stuck because nobody wants to come buy our house here. And we don't want to leave. I mean, maybe eventually we will, but it's so much. I mean, behind me, beside me, the things that go on, my kids, they're older, I don't want them out. And it's just not a safe family place. It doesn't feel that way. And at first we thought it was, but I have seen just walking in front of our house, walking in our alley, we have a fence up. It doesn't matter what we do between the noise and the stuff that goes on and the people crying and everything. It just has really gotten worse, and it makes us as a family think, why are we here? And I love the people. We have met great people, but it doesn't make you want to stay, especially when this happens. And anyways, I just wanted to put my 2 cents in there because I just think there's other ways of going about things, and where we work together, we talk together, we're working on things, because there might be other people like us out there in this town who want to be here, but think, you know what, this is not where we want our kids to be anymore, or us, because we don't feel safe. And that's a huge thing right now, safety, even above some of this other stuff. That the more code violations and the more crap that gets brought in and the more tweakers, whatever you want to call them or whatever goes on, that just makes it worse. So if it's going to take that long to do it, then it's like we need to just drop everything and get the whatever little we can and go before it gets worse. And so there is people out there like that, and I've talked to them. And that's where we are as a family, so.
You aren't the only one, Tanya. I had my neighbour come crying to me the other day, wanted to move out of town because of the tweakers and thieves and the drugs going on next door.
I mean, my backyard is like even with the fence up.
So you
You know,
got
and nothing
big.
happens. And when the sheriff's department comes in and they do stuff in your backyard, nobody tells you anything and nothing happens, or you don't know what happens and it continues to happen and then they come back and then it's constant. So even with the sheriff's department coming into Lane, you hear things like, well, they didn't do anything because it wasn't this or whatever, and then they're back. And
That's a lot.
so a question there would be, where's the sheriff's department? I heard we pay them a lot of money and I don't see them very often. I've seen them in my backyard a few times, but it ends up where it's a big scare. They have guns out and then you don't know anything of what happens, and then you find out, well, really nothing happened, and then it continues to happen. So it's just like, it's not just my backyard, I know it's all over. Whoever got pulled over the other day coming into town because they're looking for some guy, and then I called the sheriff's department because that's what I do. I first call them and say, what's going on in my backyard, what's going on with this, because I don't need to hear it from anyone else, I want to hear it from them. And I say, the school's still in session, can you, my kid's gonna be leaving school and walking home, can he do that? Oh, no, it's just this, or it's, I didn't say anything to the schools. So we are not being, I don't feel like the sheriff's department is protecting us either, because I speak to them, not my neighbors or anyone else. I call, and I have people calling me saying, what's going on in our backyard, or what's this? And I say, well, I called the sheriff's department, this is what they said, and it's not been helpful either. So I don't know what we're doing.
It's been allowed to go on too long, that's the problem.
And a lot of people move here, and it's been said, because it's cheap. Where else can you live for free? Get this for free, that for free. So then their friends come this. That's why they're all here. It's cheap. Where else can you live for free?
Yeah, tweakers love it.
So that's.
They can live in the bathroom in the park.
No, it's not.
I say
Good.
but that's one of the problems too. I mean,
Yeah.
why they're
We
all
take
here.
my neighbour, they go to the toilet in the backyard because they're living in the shed. They have fires at night, drug activity every week.
Okay, so are we pinpointing?
Well, I think we should finish
Are
this
we,
motion.
are we pinpointing?
No.
I thought it was a blanket,
Oh,
whatever. Oh, okay. Yes, there is a motion to extinguish, do away with the position of code compliance officer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do not know what the next step is, but the town attorney will figure that out with the ordinances. So with that, this right here, the next one, B, removal of personal.
Hang on, I didn't get a chance. Okay, on the first one there, under definitions, abandoned, the, first paragraph, right toward the end, the last sentence, length of time or any particular state of mind of the owner or person.
Okay, where are you?
Okay,
No, give me the title.
it's the establishing regulations and abatement of unsafe, unfit, and unsanitary dwelling structures or premises.
Okay, you're still wanting to get to the end. I'm on number A, or letter A, or B. Now that is C,
This
which
is
is an ordinance of the town of Glen establishing regulations and abatement of unsafe, unfit, and unsanitary dwellings. That's what you want to address.
well, if we're not on it yet, we can be on it, but, right? Okay, yeah,
As long as we're all on the same page. Okay, so where,
okay. Number one, under abandoned, right toward the end there, that last sentence says, length of time or any particular state of mind of the owner or person entitled to possession. How do you know what the state of mind is?
you have said that
Yes.
before,
And I got no answer.
no. My copy.
Well,
Says-
I've got the other one here.
Okay, Kennewick, Wenatchee, Glenwood, and others use this word. So
Okay.
that was your answer. So it's just maybe a standard statement?
It just seems really vague, because who knows what the person's state of mind is at any particular time.
You'd have to be a professional to
Okay.
judge that. Linwood, all those places have police officers and they're all trained in state of mind issues.
Oh,
That's probably what the deal is there,
Anything else with the,
which our code
Same
enforcer
one
is
as-
not.
no, that's the only thing that I have in my head.
So that wouldn't apply to our town.
all right, so, council, you have before you the three language that has been presented to you. Do you want it or do you not? Do you want to continue with the process of the code compliance of these ordinances or not? Right now, we have to go with, these are new, so if I violate from this point, we can make a decision. Make this point forward, then I would be following these. But anything in the past is gonna be the original 1101, which has been stated, doesn't have, it's got the same steps as these. These have a little bit more, God, I wish I could.
Wording, language.
Yeah, the more oomph, to abide by, to fall back on, to have support in your door knocking, letter writing.
I think on that one, I think the first two, I would go for. Number 3, no.
Okay, number 3, you are saying that no is the abatement of unsafe, unfit, unsanitary dwellings, structures, or premises. So you're going to do that, you want that one to be gone. That's the one that's got the most.
I'm going on like, hang on, sorry.
A, Dad, you want A.
Hey, yeah, hey.
Come on, Dad, give it
Can't see. Yeah, number 8, I mean, that's like the what do you call them? RVs, caravans.
Could you guys read those for the residents? Because
too much. We'll be here all night.
we don't even know what they say.
What don't you like?
What are you changing?
You can look at my copies.
We're not changing anything, we are presenting possible language, vehicle storage and recreational vehicle storage.
Well, if you're not changing anything, then what are you doing?
We're
What's,
presenting language.
so what are you changing? It already says this and you're changing it to that because why? You're not really explaining it at all. Do they even know what the original says? What are you changing? It's not making any sense. Who is it giving more oomph to? It makes no sense.
Yeah, you see what I mean with A, on A, where like, I just think A is too much. You know, it's caravans, parking RVs outside your house where you've got to have permits, with these permits to act, or about one vehicle in the car, you know.
Then you end up with what we've got now. You know what I mean?
Well,
You
okay,
just-
with that statement, yes. Where it says vehicle storage and recreational vehicle storage. We listened to the complaints of the citizens. Get rid of the vehicles, get rid of the RVs that I'd have to look at across the street. I cannot look down the street because I gotta look at the tail end of somebody's RV. I can't look down this way because I got somebody else's RV down there. That is kind of where this probably came from, with the thought of what the council wanted of residential vehicle storage okay? Where are you gonna store it? I don't have a backyard, as Jamie says, okay? Then where, is there a place that you can, rent in Ritzville? Is there a place that you can rent down at Pacific Pride? Those, I don't know how big they are, but anyway, that might be a possibility. It's just language being thrown out there from what we have listened to, what we have heard as this is an issue. This we do not like. This right here, these three are just one of 10 that we have worked up. And they're separated out.
I feel like the RV, people not wanting to see the RVs pertains to the drug RVs, that the ones that have like 5 or 6 in their yard.
No.
The Clearview law already covers any RVs that are blocking your view if you can't see around to get out of your driveway or something.
Right.
That's already on the books, Clearview.
Yeah.
So I don't know what else.
I don't know. Personally, I feel like everyone should be allowed to park their RV.
I think A has too
As
many
long as it's not
rules,
obstructing.
too much. You know, that's all the whole thing, I think it's been something for 1 week.
Okay, so may I ask, have you taken your pen and have you scratched out what you don't like
A.
of this whole thing? Okay, so that is your opinion. What are you gonna do with the people that are upset because they cannot see? They cannot, look across the street and look at their neighbor's pretty yard or whatever. It's
I think
one foot
probably,
in the other.
I think then probably in a situation like this, that would be down to the public to voice their opinions to the council.
Well, you've had this and you could have discussed it with whoever wanted to discuss it
There's
with.
a lot of people there at night, I mean, who would be
Okay.
for, who would be against, are they really that
But
bad?
this is only a small portion of the town.
I know what you're saying, but are they really that bad nuisance caravans?
I don't know.
I mean, most of the ones I've seen have been tweakers. In alleyways, on roadways, blocking alleyways.
Okay, so you,
And I mean, I don't know if a caravan has to be tagged or not, I'm not sure on that one.
What's a
Does it-
caravan?
an RV.
No, it's a trailer.
Okay.
That's London's unique land.
Yeah, that's why I needed the interpretation.
Do they have to be tagged?
Yes.
Yeah, anything that's on the road that goes down the road has to be tagged.
Well, then, so therefore, if you've got a caravan on the road that isn't tagged, that can be built, right?
Could be, but the
Could be
cops
put away.
have to see it going down the road themselves to pull it over.
You can go up, call
You
it.
don't have to have
No.
It's got the emotion.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So at what point does it stop? So if there's RVs out on the roadway that aren't blocking your intersection to go out there, but we're going to pass or throw out a motion or a code that says, because my neighbor says that that's an eyesore, we're gonna put it in the code that we can no longer have RVs in our own property? Like, to me,
On
that's
the-
just right.
In the parking area on the street.
Okay,
Just
just on the street.
It already,
houses have.
it already says that.
Have
Right?
off-street parking.
Well, Okay, we got too many conversations going
I
on.
live somewhere in Fort Minor, that opens up a whole kettle of fish too.
I would take what Ms. Tanya said and turn Lynn back to being the way that it was, that people remember it being like neighbor to neighbor. Hey, is there any way you could move that? I would like to see when I back out, there's an issue, blah, blah, blah. And you're right, we have turned away from being neighborly. And we don't want to put out any effort to turn that around to be neighborly and be kind, to be workable.
I get on with my neighbours fine. We cook each other pies, they come around to dinner, hey, cool. You're all love.
Okay, but in answer to your question, that's part of that. You know, where's it gonna stop? It won't, because we're all at each
But we have
other's
the power
throats.
right now to make it stop. Like, you don't have to pass this code, you can just let everybody know.
Well,
If somebody calls in, be like, have you asked them? Have you talked to them? Encourage that behavior.
and we've done
Don't
that,
just write a law and say, obey the law or we'll find you.
and we've done that, and some people do not abide by that
Then that's on them,
kindness.
and it'll just continue to be
Then
played, be like, okay,
Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you make him? Why
it's not
didn't
your
you do it?
job.
Well, yeah, it is.
Because the cops.
Yeah,
Just
it is.
because they call them something that's not on the law or on the books, it's not your job to say, hey, remove this. Because it's not a part of the code, it's not a law that they have to abide by.
Well, we all have to have laws and rules so that we know where we are right and where we are wrong.
How is parking your RV on a street right or wrong?
Well, if you're blocking the road of
If that's not what it sounds like to me, it just sounds like that people are upset that this big thing is on the street. If it's not blocking your point of view to look left or right, it shouldn't be a problem.
How would it not look to do it if it's at your neighbor's? Your house is different. You don't have neighbors right next to you. You put an RV there, you're looking right at somebody's RV.
Cool.
Bernie looks.
You get to see a cool RV.
But I paid like my.
And they paid only $40,000 for that, to park it out in front of their house, which they have the right to
Then they
do.
got $40,000, they could buy a storage place. But I don't wanna sit there, you know, I don't have a problem there. But being on my porch, looking, and I can't look to the right. I'm looking at an RV, which is taller than a truck.
You're
And
gonna
you're on
have those
city
problems
property.
everywhere. You're gonna have those problems in Spokane, you're gonna have those problems at other towns too, because you can't see out. Who cares? It's their property, they should be able to park it where they want.
Property's on street property though, that's the difference from the sidewalk out is street town property. Your property is from your grass back to the
So
alley.
you don't have a right to park your own vehicle in front of your house if you don't have a driveway or a backyard?
That's not uncommon in many towns, in many
It's not a right, but it's an option.
there are rules, but you can't.
I understand there are rules, but it just seems asinine to me that you buy a house without any of these, and now the town, or this small ass town, has a shit ton of rules for no reason.
Right.
There has been people in town.
I know.
I know it's not uncommon, but we can change that.
Spokane Valley just made it to where you can't have fuel cards in there, you've got one fuel card, they're towing them all out. Now as we speak, that's what Spokane Valley is.
So what
We don't want to
we
make
do
it
is
Okay, guys, we are trying to do a council meeting, not a town hall meeting. So, back to what does the council want to do? Do you want any more work to be put into A, vehicle and recreational vehicle storage, B, removal of personal and/or abandoned property in right-of-way or on town public property. C, excuse me, regulation and abatement of unsafe, unfit, and unsanitary dwelling structures or premises.
I agree with the first two, A, and opposed to. Wait,
Agrees with the first two, but he's against A, the first one.
that's easier for them to understand, or
Somebody else take it.
Okay, council?
I think we should like give priority, put them in a priority order. Obviously, the vehicle storage and recreational vehicle storage is gonna be a hot one, and it's not anything that's endangering anybody right now. But the abatement of unsafe, unfit, unsanitary dwellings is
staring at everybody as we drive down the roads.
Are you sure that if you change that, you don't have to start over?
That was the one that,
If you change the law, I'm afraid you have to start over.
do you see the three colors?
Yes.
Okay, that's the one that's had the most clarifications, additions, and all that stuff. So yes, that has been the best, I guess, or the foremost that people put out there. I guess desire to have more language talk.
So you referenced 1101, and these would be like separated parts of what 1101 talks about?
Yes. That's where it all kind of came from, because 1101 was too much. It's all in one, but we are not in an all-in-one community anymore.
So that would be the only thing that I compare with the new languages to what the old languages is. Just the 1101. Are there any others that I should have to compare? I'm not thinking, but just was curious. Does everybody have a copy of 1101?
You did at the beginning of your
I have it. I was just asking if everybody did.
Henry, what others were you working?
So it has some things to do with the zoning also. The zoning is building codes, et cetera, but they're very vague in our ordinances from way back in 95, previous to that. This hopefully will help people keep their houses in a little bit better shape. You can't have a house that has no front door. We got a house on Second where the front door's been off for 30 years, 40 years. And the person just decided they don't care, the weeds are there. You know, that's, with RCWs, you go into those, they have the abandoned properties and they have derelict property ordinances in the RCWs. And it shows you that the person is supposed to board them up, make it so the kids can't get in there, the neighbors don't get in there, et cetera, et cetera. And that's things that we don't have, but they're in these, that they're in this.
So with what you've been working with, for us to be able to compare what we already have to what the new is, it would be the zoning.
It's in zoning, right?
So the zoning ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
Any other ordinance?
And the building inspecting ordinance. It's
Is it
basically
10?
the same thing.
Oh, okay.
They're one right after the other.
All right. Could we get copies of that, please, for the council members?
The zoning ordinance is like this thick.
You can look at it online.
That's why we were focusing on just itty bitty, itty bitty, itty bitty.
This is not itty bitty.
No, it's not. So, we're still processing? Is that what you're saying? Still processing?
So you want to table it until next meeting or what?
I think we're progressing because you actually read some of the ordinances.
Well, it's just overwhelming. You get handed 30
Yeah,
pages
I
of
know,
legal language
I
and
know, but it's been going on.
Yeah, it's a lot extra in here.
I mean, can't we table this and get some public opinion?
You can do that at your leisure, yes.
We could have a town hall meeting, London, that would be good. And really, I don't think you guys should be doing this without an attorney anyway. They shouldn't
Yes,
expect
after you
you.
have the language, the attorney will critique what you want. The attorney wants the council to have as much input as possible. and then they will turn around and say, okay, you can't really say this, or this law goes here, or
What,
whatever.
he never told them what was wrong with what we have.
It just wasn't a big enough,
So you're guessing at what changes to make, and then you have to see what he says, and then you have to start over again.
yes,
That's not a,
whatever you're gonna say, Denise, because if you're not gonna be satisfied. But
Oh, I was gonna say.
The
that
procedure
we've got to
is
be able to
completely
pay you
ridiculous.
to Be here. And do we have that in the budget?
I would only ask them to be here if we were on our last steps.
Okay.
This is what we want. This is how much that we're at 110%. This is what we want. So please take this and critique it. Tell us where we are, blah, blah, blah. I would not ask the attorney to come and do this.
Right.
Is this the same attorney that you guys don't like?
It's the attorney, the town attorney that we have, yes.
It's not necessarily that we don't like them,
Uh-huh.
it's the amount of work that isn't done.
Okay. So that's it.
I think we.
So how about if we bring this ordinance back to the next meeting, everybody just try and focus on the one, read through it, and
Okay, what's your title?
let your neighbor read through it, it's the abatement.
Okay.
Abatement ordinance.
Regulation, yeah.
So it's letter C.
And then the other two will tackle,
So we can tackle
One at a
that.
time.
we have one focus.
Okay. So we will bring back Henry, the ordinance of the town of Land establishing regulations and abatement of unsafe, unfit, and unsanitary.
If you read to the public, that last sentence for the purpose, that'll explain the whole thing. It is the intent.
It is the intent of this chapter to clarify and strengthen the procedures for abating such nuisances, particularly unsafe or unfit dwellings, buildings, structures, or premises, modeled after provisions of RCW 35A.21.405 and Chapter 35.80 RCW. So that's what we will bring back for everybody, yes? Okay, so moving on. Code compliance update. This in answer to some of your questions. Take one. There. No, we take the whole paper clip together.
Who's made the bloody China? Just. No.
Give one to Mike there in the middle.
Oh, okay. Good job.
Okay, so, Henry, would you explain that, the first page is double-sided? And then the last
There's
two
three different
pages.
steps. These are the three steps that are in our ordinance on how we're gonna do it now, okay? These three steps have already been done with the three first properties, and they're in the hands of the attorney. And I have approximately 27 more to go out. And with this sample courtesy letter, and it just explains, let's clean it up, come to the town hall, let us know what you're gonna do within the next 2 weeks, and then whatever is said. If they come in, the council will be told at the next council meeting what has been done, and if nobody shows up, then the council can, then there's a second letter that would go